Hi guys, welcome back to the second video tutorial in the production series. Today we're going to be looking at basic synthesis again, and we're going to be creating a kind of 80s electro-funk stab sound which is quite versatile and can be used for a lot of different things. We're going to be using Native Instruments Massive as with the last tutorial, and I'm going to try and talk you through creating this sound from start to finish. The sound we're actually going to be creating is this one. Now, I prepared a little demo earlier with using that sound in various instances of Massive to use it for bass and for the stabs and for a little lead, which sounds like this. Okay, so as you can see, it's quite a cool sound and we can use it for a few different things, so let's jump into making it. So first of all, we're going to go File and New Sound to initialize the patch. And it's basically made out of three things. It's the oscillator 1, which is a saw wave, oscillator 2, which is going to be a square wave, and the noise generator, which is going to add a little bit of white noise. So let's set up oscillator 1. So make sure it's set to square saw 1, which it should be by default. And let's push up this one so it's going straight into filter 1. And we'll turn on oscillator 2 and set that to -12 to give us an octave. And we're going to drag the wavetable all the way down to the left to give us a square wave on this one. And we're also going to push this straight into filter 1 as well. Finally, let's turn up the amp on the white noise generator to about the 12 o'clock position, and we'll drag that into filter 1 as well. Okay, now if I play, we're getting kind of a gritty DXy kind of sound, which is the basis for what we want. So let's move into the filter section now. First thing we're going to do is drag this slider all the way to the top because we want the filters working in serial instead of parallel. And we're basically going to send the signal all the way through filter 1, out into filter 2 and out into the mix stage. So first thing we're going to do is set up a low pass 2 on filter 1, which is a 12 dB filter. And we're going to bring the cutoff all the way down and set the resonance to about just before 9 o'clock, or just after 9 o'clock rather. And for filter 2, we're going to assign it a low pass 4, which is a 24 dB filter. Drag that all the way down to the left and set the resonance to about the same position as the first one. We're also going to push this up as well, so we're getting the output. And finally, in the mix stage, we're going to drag this all the way down, so we're getting mix 2. So basically, the filters, it's coming out of the oscillator into filter 1, out into filter 2, and out to the mix stage. So if I play now, you won't be able to hear anything because the filter cutoff on the filter 2 is set to all the way to the left. So if I bring that up, you start to hear the sound again. Okay, next thing we're going to do is just make some slight adjustments to the amp envelope. So let's go to envelope 4, which is connected to the amp, as I said in my last tutorial, by default. And we're just going to bring the attack up a little bit, and also the release a little bit as well. Let's bring the attack up a little bit more. Okay, that's it for the amp envelope. Now we're going to control all the filters by an envelope as well. So we're going to go to envelope 1, and first thing we're going to do is bring the attack right down. So we're getting a very quick attack, and we're going to bring the level all the way down as well. So we're getting this shape, and we're going to assign this to our filters. So first thing we're going to do is click on the little D-pad by envelope 1 and assign it to filter 1. And we're going to also do the same thing for filter 2. And we're also going to assign it to the amp of the noise generator as well, because we want to close that off every time the envelope triggers as well. So seeing as we're down here, we'll click and drag on the 1 down to the left. And on cutoff for filter 1, we're going to click and drag all the way up. And the same for filter 2. So now if I play, you can hear the filters being triggered by the envelope. Okay, last thing we need to do is just set up the effects. So for the effects one, we're going to choose classic tube to give us a bit more grit again. We're going to drag the dry wet all the way down to the left until it's about just past 9 o'clock. And we're going to drag the drive down as well. And we're going to turn on effects 2, which it should be already. And we're going to give that one a reverb. And again, we're going to drag the dry wet down to about 9 o'clock in this case, and the size to about the same position as well. If I drag the main volume down a little bit just so it doesn't clip, That should be everything for the sound. And we're still clipping a little bit, so adjust that a little bit more. Okay, final thing is to just look at the vibrato section again. I said in my last tutorial that the vibrato should be linked to the mod wheel already. I'm not sure 100% if that is actually the case, so just to double check, we'll go to the oscillator tab, and you can see these are linked to number 1 already. That's definitely there by default every time you initialize a patch. However, this controller down here, this macro controller, is not necessarily assigned to your mod wheel, and if you find it's not, just right click on it and do MIDI learn, and then move your mod wheel. Now you should be linked up to the vibrato control, so you can do... Anyway, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful, and stay tuned for the next one.